The Real Problems with Congress and Washington, D.C., and How to Fix Them, and Maybe Win a Presidential Election Too, by Michael S. Brown. This video reveals the real problems that plague our nation's capital and offers ways to fix them. I began by making use of root cause analysis techniques I learned while working in the nuclear power industry for over 26 years. There are many tools within the root cause program which can help identify the cause of a problem and test possible solutions. For the problems with Congress, I started by making a list of undesirable symptoms: gridlock, frustration, closed-door deal-making, confusion on direction, what to do and how, party politics, party bosses, special interest groups, and wealthy supporters having excessive influence, Congress low approval by voters, people feeling no voice as evidenced by Occupy Wall Street, little congressional accountability, and confusing voting records. After studying this list, I concluded the problems can be simplified by designating two main themes. Theme number 1 is what should be done, and theme number 2, how to get things done. Next, I proceeded to study each theme independently. Theme number 1, what should be done? A simple enough question. In a democracy such as ours, the answer should be what the voters want. But how do we know what the voters want? There are a number of highly leveraged public opinion polls where the responses of small numbers of voters are extrapolated to assess what the general population might want. The problem with this approach is that only a small number of voters are asked for their opinion. Were you asked? Secondly, trying to extrapolate a small data set is inherently imprecise. So what's a better way? Ask each voter what their opinion is on a selected topic. Is this really possible? Yes. Here's how it would work. We need to build a technopolis. A what? A technopolis will be a secure computer system, log-on and password required, designed to capture voters' opinions on a given topic each week. The name combines polis, which comes from the ancient Greek origins of democracy, with techno, whereby we will make use of current technology, computers, phones, etc., to ensure our elected representatives always know what the voters want. Each user will be invited to provide standard demographic information one time. This will be useful later on to sort the results by congressional districts, states, and/or other demographic categories. Once we get voters registered, here's how the system will work. At noon Sunday, a new question will be posted, and the channels will be open all week for registered voters to express their opinion via their favorite media form. At midnight Saturday, input for that question will close. From midnight Saturday until 6 a.m. Sunday, the week's voting will be tallied and reports generated by demographic information. At 6 a.m. Sunday, all registered persons in the system will be able to view reports of voting on any of the demographic information. So people can see national totals, totals by state, congressional district, zip code. The results can show how Hispanic females in Florida voted, or how people over 60 voted. The data polling service will give people a voice by each week asking their opinion on an issue. The assimilation of comprehensive public opinion by state and congressional district will create a mandate for those holding office to vote accordingly or to explain why they did not. This feature will weaken the grip by party bosses and special interest groups. The masses of registered voters will feel empowered once they see their elected representatives obligated to vote in line with their opinions on issues. As an example, let's say we asked voters to respond to the following. What is your opinion about the Obamacare health insurance program? A, the program is okay as is and should not be changed. B, the program is generally okay but needs adjustments. C, the program is not okay and should be eliminated entirely. At week's end, if 65% of the voters respond A and think the program is okay, why should Congress spend any of their time and energy trying to derail it? Each week we would have a new question that voters would be invited to respond to. This completes theme number 1, what should be done. Let's pause a moment and review the list of symptoms to see how effective these actions might be. I hope you can see how solving this first theme goes a long way to knocking out many of the initial symptoms, but we're only halfway there. We need to examine theme number 2, how to get things done. Theme number 2, how to get things done. For this second theme, we need a close inspection of how things are currently done. The current paper and voice process for working congressional bills is needlessly complex and inefficient. A close examination of the body and amendments of a typical bill might show 15 incremental items, 5 good items, 5 bad items, and 5 in-the-middle items. A single yes-no vote is expected on the collection. If one votes yes to get the good things, the bad things get approved too. If one votes no to block the bad things, the good things don't get approved. How would you vote on such a bill? The complexity of current bills is a significant contributing factor to gridlock, to confusing voting records, and to closed-door deal-making. The current paper and voice system for processing bills is slow, cumbersome, and inefficient. Solution to theme number 2. How to get things done. The best solution to how to get things done is congressional electronic line item approval. This would break down the typical 15-item bill into 15 separate entities, each without amendments, each to live or die on its own merits. As a result, the good things would get a quick approval. The bad things would not be approved and not even submitted, as experience would show that it's a waste of time. The in-the-middle things would still get debated, but in the meanwhile, the good items would have been approved and the bad things would have been blocked. The electronic component of congressional electronic line item approval introduces a host of benefits. In comparison to paper and voice, electronic processing is much quicker and more efficient. Electronic drill-down capability would allow supporting justification for items such as data, photos, survey results, and so on. Cradle-to-grave tracking capability would capture the entire life of a bill line item, from preliminary justification to the voting record and to implementation details such as spending, before and after photos, and so on. A secure electronic system would allow Congress to vote on items from remote locations and need not be in Washington, D.C. And lastly, a voting comments capability should be included to allow those who choose to document their strength of support or objection to an item and or the reasons they voted the way they did. A congressional electronic line item approval system would result in clear voting records, better congressional accountability, and less deal-making. This system would improve the openness of congressional business to the American public. This completes theme number 2, how to get things done. Let's pause once more and make a final review of the list of symptoms to see how effective these actions might be. I hope you can see that by taking on the 2 themes I identified would eliminate this list of symptoms. Are we done yet? Not quite. What about presidential candidates? Which of the presidential candidates are champions of an effort to fix the process of doing business in Washington, as I've shown here? None. The candidates are hotly debating incremental issues, each with their own programs and plans. But none, not even one candidate, has the data that shows what the voters actually want. None are committed to asking voters on a continuing basis what they want to do about issues of the day. So now we have two sets of problems. Problem number one is the process of doing business in Washington is broken, or at least not as efficient and effective as it could be. Problem number two is that none of the presidential candidates acknowledge this. The result? It won't matter which candidate wins. If we don't fix the process of doing business in Washington, the next president of our country will have to endure the symptom list every day of his term. You might ask President Obama how much fun that is. It doesn't have to be that way. Get the candidates to take on reforming the way business is done in Washington. Get them to make a technopolis. Get them to propose congressional line item approvals. We need these reforms to tackle the challenges that face us. Our children will need these reforms too. Let's create a political climate that isn't fraught with frustration and anxiety. We can do it. The journey begins with you and with me. Let's begin today. That's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can be notified of future releases. And lastly, please tell your friends about this site. Take care.